criticizing Pam Bondi for her attacks on Americans' free speech. I'm really excited that we're on the same page.
Yeah, we are, but then we're not, though, because what happened to Charlie Kirk, to me, is a tremendous attack on free speech. He was killed for opinions and speech that people hate and are offended by. How can you say you care about free speech, but then you're cheering after such a horrific attack on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could certainly say, if you wanted to, that Charlie Kirk's shooting was an attack on free speech. That's certainly one way to frame it so that it really sounds like I'm being hypocritical. But you could also say that Charlie Kirk was someone who increasingly advocated political violence. And
statistically speaking,
so?
This is rather rare.
Sorry about this. This was a guy who was very vigorous in his support of the January 6th extremists who attacked our Capitol and called for the hanging of our vice president. This was someone who called for his supporters to bail out a man who attacked the husband of a political rival, I believe looking for Pelosi, but this was Paul Pelosi, who happened to be home and subject to this vicious political attack. And so, you could certainly say that this isn't, him fomenting political violence, but I don't think you could say it honestly, and I don't think you could say it with a straight face. I mean, this is someone who was very vigorous in his contribution to a climate of political violence, and I think it's terrible that anyone would be killed in political violence, but certainly when the political violence sort of winds up hitting someone who has been fomenting it, that's a time when I think, you're glad it wasn't someone innocent. You're glad it wasn't someone who wasn't.
So let me explain my pushback to this is that even if I took it face value, what you said about that, two wrongs don't make me right. So the same way that if I had an opponent who supported rape, for example, I would not start cheering for them being raped. Evil plus evil, fighting fire with fire, burn the whole world. Yeah, I don't understand how you can't see that.
Absolutely, no, I mean, I do. I mean, I think I've been very committed to nonviolent in my own community. My statements are always.
But also cheering for Tim.
I'm cheering for it was a bad person rather than a good person this time. I'm cheering for, again, I wouldn't be accused of supporting cancer if I was happy, someone died of cancer. I'm not happy about the method that he died. I don't think anyone should copy that method. I think it's terrible. I think that, we've got this atmosphere of political violence fomented by the right and the far right. I mean, I think your co-host, what's his name, Lawson Coxon or something? He actually got a death threat. Yeah, Mr. Coxon. He got a death threat from, a MAGA after Charlie Kirk's death. Like, clearly, the right is, fomenting this terrible atmosphere of anger and violence. I've got a few examples. There was obviously the Minneapolis attacks on state legislatures. The list is horrible. Some of whom that I know. The place where I got my first gender-affirming care, my first testosterone therapy was burned down by an arsonist who participated in the January 6th. That is evil, terrible form of violence, and I don't want it to exist. But the fact that the right is accelerating, sometimes they get to throw back. Terrible.
Hang on. A couple points, Evan. A couple points. One is that it is certainly not exclusively the right fomenting it.
No, it's just like 75% the right.
We're going to just disagree on that, so let's move along.
Yeah, we can disagree, but I mean, I think, the U.S. Department of Justice, they took down the page saying that it was 75% the right. I mean, you can try to hide these facts
Those are the incidents that have occurred.
Violence, but it doesn't change the fact of who actually is doing it.
Well, who is
we're
doing
both
it?
entitled to our opinions, but
public
facts are really
support
something.
provided, Evan. But I
I'm
want to
sorry,
talk about.
I'm speaking over you. What were you trying to say?
Oh, well, so the number of incidents that concentrated them is one fact. But who is generally encouraging or celebrating violence at large is a different question.
That is absolutely the far right. Yeah, we know that because, we know that, cheering for hanging Mike Pence, calling for executions of Joe Biden, which is something Charlie Kirk did. Talking about, executing homeless people. That was a Fox News host.
And horrible. I condemned it, and he immediately had to apologize.
executing innocent homeless people because they are mentally ill. This sort of shocking political violence on the right really needs to stop. And I am horrified by it, and I'm horrified that anyone would be caught up in it.
But how can you say
I'm
you're
glad that it was
horrified
Charlie
by
Kirk
it
and not
when you
me, right?
cheer for it happening from the left towards the right? Don't you see that makes you a total hypocrite?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can certainly frame it that way, but I'm not really accepting your frame. I think it's good that he's dead. I'm not happy about the message, but, you know, one less evil person in the world is one less
That's
evil
not
person.
what your article conveys, that you're not happy about the message. It comes off very
My
bad.
mobility is impaired.
Well, I will link to it, but I do want to ask you about two things. So one, you mentioned like burning down a gender-affirming hospital or clinic or what have
It
you.
was a Planned Parenthood act.
Okay, so first, that's actually a very interesting example. Unequivocally, I condemn that. That's horrible. Even though I disagree with some of the things that those organizations do. But do you not understand that there is no logic in defense or celebrating what happened to Charlie Kirk? He's a bad person. His ideas are harmful. He hurt people. That would not equally justify the bombing of an abortion clinic, because those
Oh,
people
yeah, no, I mean, so
think
let's
that
talk
it's
about
harmful.
the difference between, you know, feeling something and expressing it. So I felt joy when Charlie Kirk died, but I was and it's in my piece. I was quiet, I was respectful, I was polite. Not everyone was, but I'm not someone who
For
likes
24
to
hours.
taunt people or, you know, or engage in this kind of thing. And then when I noticed that there was an attack on the president and our nation and our constitution was under threat, it just seemed
Synergy is beautiful.
Say you were right.
Non-profit organizations
Saying,
or
when I died, I put my
funding
hand.
sites that quote Charlie Kirk inaccurately.
what a
I mean, come
pleasant
on,
surprise.
this is a five-alarm fire for free speech, and I appreciate that you have like very tepid support of free speech. But you know, for me, I'm all in. I'm all in on the First Amendment.
How is it tepid? How is my support for free speech tepid?
Well, I mean, you're up here trying to argue that my free speech was distasteful, even though it should be allowed, as opposed to standing behind me as a free speech warrior who cares
Those
about the
things don't
Constitution
go
and our
together.
way of life.
I defend your legal right to say hateful things or horrible
And I
things, but I
appreciate
challenge you on
appreciate
that.
it much.
That's my
but
own
it is a
free
little
speech.
tepid. It
But
is,
now
it
let me
is
ask you
little-
something.
What a
little-
pleasant
you know, a little
surprise.
weak sauce.
Slightly different, Evan. So you are a member of the transgender community. The transgender community is facing tremendous pushback and backlash right now. Without even getting into all of that and the why, do you think it is helpful for the trans community to have a prominent transgender writer and commentator like yourself publicly celebrating terrorism? I would suggest to you it's actually deeply harmful.
Yeah, this is definitely something that I thought about before writing the piece, and I talked about it.
Let's have some
Close to me. You know, my opinion in the end was that trans people have been made the primary target of discrimination. Our civil rights are being stripped from us day by day. I risk losing the ability to have a passport that doesn't help me to any foreign country that I travel to. I risk
Rage at maximum.
using a bathroom where I'll get arrested and following the law about which bathroom I should use. So in this sort of circumstance, the idea that I will make it worse by suspending free speech in this way is just not something that ultimately I thought really helpful. But it's certainly a legitimate concern.
I think high-profile transgender people celebrating terrorism, the results of terrorism, I guess, and that mocking victims of terrorism, I think is tremendously harmful. We all care about trans people and their lives. Why?
Hear about transgender people being able to
Yes, absolutely. I disagree with you on many transgender-related issues, but I have always believed in the rights of transgender adults to live however will make them happy. Certainly some of the specific things you referenced to, I think, are debatable propositions, but I do want to ask you about one more thing from your article. You referenced Charlie Kirk having cited Leviticus to suggest that gays should be stoned to death. That is not actually an accurate thing. He never called for gays to. He was citing that to make an argument, not to say
Oh
that
yeah,
he
great. This
supported
one.
it.
Ah, I love this. I like argued on Blue Sky about this for like
Snopes has
like
fact
hours.
checked that
Yeah, no,
claim
there,
as
you can go
false.
to the video. You can see what he said. He misquoted Leviticus to make it more violent because Leviticus calls for gays to be killed, not for gays to be stoned in particular. And then he called it God's perfect law, and he was making an argument that love thy neighbor can't possibly mean not stoning gays to death because God's perfect law calls for the stoning of gays, which, I don't agree with that, but
You
he has
acknowledge
every right to
that
say it, but it's
You
certainly
acknowledge,
violent.
though, Evan, it was not Charlie
So
Kirk's
you've never been to
position
Hook Beats
gays should be
Memorial?
stoned. Snopes has fact-checked this and
No,
found that
it was
false.
his position. I mean, I'm sorry.
That
I've seen
wasn't
the
his
video.
position. You're lying.
I'm a journalist. I speak the English language. I know what the argument he was making was. He's a Christian who called it God's perfect law, and he felt that we should change our laws in America to follow the
No,
Christian
he was
tradition
pointing
of
out the
stoning gays to death,
hypocrisy
which is
of
just
someone
something I
else
disagree with.
citing Leviticus. Even Snopes, which is a liberal-leaning fact-checker, fact-checked this
It is
claim
not a
and made it
liberal-leaning
false.
fact. Come on.
Do you put Snopes as a credible fact-checker?
I put it as a credible fact checker,
And
not a
they
liberal
fact-checked
leaning
your
one. It's
argument
just
here
a
and said
fact
it's
check.
totally false.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you
They were
pause. You
wrong.
won't issue
I mean,
a
sometimes
correction.
they get it wrong,
You won't issue a correction?
Dude, the link to the video is in my piece. People can go, they can look at the video, they can see what he said, right? Like, I can't change what he said. You can try and reinterpret his words so that they sound better, so that he doesn't really seem to be
I'm just
saying
trying
what
to
he
be
actually
honest
said. But,
about the guy that
anyone
was
can
just
go to the
killed.
video and see what he said.
I was very critical of him over the years, Evan, on many different issues, but I find the idea of lying to make someone who was just murdered sound worse than they actually were, I find it really sad. Really
Yeah,
sad.
you find it really sad.
I do.
Yeah,
Why are you making fun of this? This is an act of terrorism.
I mean, look, I am absolutely against terrorism. I've really made that clear. I think it's, I think we're coming to the end of our 15 minutes, but, if you want to kind of cut me to make it sound like I'm in favor of terrorism, that seems like a really shitty thing to do. Like,
I
I'm
won't
really
cut
against
anything.
terrorism.
I
I'm
will
happy
air
that
this
a
in
bad
full.
person died. I wish he'd died of a heart attack, and then it would have been easier to celebrate, but I'm going to celebrate either way.
Well, Evan, I hope for you that you can get to a healthier and better place than that. And
Me too. I do too.
Despite our
I hope
disagreements,
you,
I would
you
never
stop
wish
lying,
anything
you
but
stop
the best for you.
misrepresenting, you stop supporting people who are trying to stone you to death, and maybe we can all come together in our love for free speech.
All right, Evan. Well, I do appreciate you having this conversation, and
Same.
thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was great.
All right, guys. Well, that was a lot. I feel a little speechless. I feel a little bit sick to my stomach, but like I said, I mean, this perspective is out there, and we do not do ourselves any favors by hiding from it, by ignoring it, by pretending it doesn't exist. So I wanted to grapple with it, and I do appreciate Evan coming on the show and talking about it and arguing about it with me. Yeah, but I find it bleak that our fellow citizens are speaking and acting and feeling like this, but they are. So we've got to grapple with it, whether we like it or not. Thank you for sticking around. making
Yeah,
it to the
sometimes
end of
Lauren's
this
just violent.
interesting video. Do make sure to subscribe if you aren't yet. Hit that like button. Yada yada yada. And we'll be back with more content real soon.
I made a Pokemon quiz where correct answers award Pokemon and items, while wrong answers inflict harsh punishments. With a battle tournament waiting at the end, which of these YouTubers will emerge victorious? And Peter, you're up first.
I'm really interested in knowing about trading card game moves. I'll start with an Ultra Ball.
Which Pokemon has the moves Power Blow and Speed Stroke?
Fired up!
Gosh, I hate this on so many levels. Is it like a low punny? I hate it as a low. Thank goodness.
So now,
How'd they even stop? That's why.
you have a guess.
It looks like it's a stage 1. Just throw out.
It is not Omanite, I'm sorry.
It must be something extremely sus. It's worse. We've got that yet.
I'm sorry guys, it's Aerodactyl.
Stroke.
So unfortunately, nobody gets the prize of a Pukuluku,
Oh.
and because this was Peter's choice, only he gets the punishment, and that is -5 IVs for all stats.
Shoot.
But you don't have any Pokemon yet, so
Yay!
Let's go Pokemon from above for Great Ball.
who's that Pokemon?
I mean, I'm seeing little legs down there. That's like there's a teeny tiny little claw. I'm gonna go with Rabska.
I'm sorry, that is not correct.
I feel like it's a bug. It feels bug-esque. It's bugging me. I'm gonna take a stab in the dark here, and
Lauren's yelling at
What's
me.
wrong, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering. I hope you're doing well today. There's something very interesting going on
Just
with
wanted
the
to watch
text message
Scooby-Doo.
exchange that the FBI released yesterday. That was from the man who is currently in jail.
What?
Right
That's
now
my
for
job.
taking the life of Charlie Kirk.
That is literally my job.
Trans boyfriend. And
Ma'am.
there are a lot of questions. I get the
You're asking me to
question
do
everything crowd,
the opposite of what I vowed to
understand
do.
where they're coming from. There may be a little bit more here than
I
just
can't
questioning
do
everything,
that. I'm
because
sorry. You can be mad at
there's
me,
a
but
lot. And there's also some
that's
uncomfortable
not how we
truths
do
that
things
people
in
are
this
talking
household.
about. Some cameras that TPUSA had set up at the event that could probably release footage that would put together a lot, or that would put to rest a lot of the conspiracy theories, or prove them right. There's about 6 dozen of them currently. 2 or 3 are pretty. 2 or 3 of them are pretty plausible, I guess, to be gaining steam. But let's talk about this in today's first video. There's been a call for Turning Point USA.
Yep, sure
to
does.
release the camera footage. I don't know if they're worried about conspiracy theories. They could do that. I'm not going to call for it. I don't need to see it happen again. However, apparently the Turning Point staff have the footage of Charlie, you know, of everything that happened. Obviously they would. They're filming everything. They took the cameras down while contaminating the crime scene.
here.
So they have cameras.
Just heard them say the active shooter Charlie Kirk has been shot.
See, they have a camera right there that would show, that would dispel a lot of the where did the bullet come from, all this kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously some people like, what were they hiding? I don't think they were hiding anything. I think they're just like, well, let's get out of here. I don't know what else to do. But again, if they release that, then the whole world will have to relive that again. There's a lot of calls for it. I don't know. You know, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I don't need to see it. I don't need to see it to know, to be convinced of what happened. But if there's enough of his supporters and people who actually are asking in good faith, maybe you could release it but cut out the incident or blur it or something like that to prove that no, it wasn't somebody in the crowd, or no, it wasn't from a window. You know, this kind of stuff. Because I would expect that footage would probably show the guy that did it, or it would show, you know, it would dispel a lot of these rumors. But the text message thing is something that I think does stink a little bit. But I have a different theory about it than I think a lot of the other people. Quote, I will have left no evidence except for the note I wrote you to you confessing my crime, and all these text messages laying out in meticulous detail all of the pertinent information needed to convict me. Lamau, okay. So these text messages come out. There's lots of questions. Why isn't there timestamps? You know, Christmas comes early kind of thing. In one short conversation, establishes location, confirms rifle, exonerates George Zinn, which we've got a different video about later today, establishes motive, confirms the drop point of a rifle, establishes planning timeline, pawns rifle on grandpa, no handoffs, references bushes for rifle and changing outfits, and admits snatching bullets. Golly, the FBI is lucky when they write their own script, a lot of people are saying. 12 exchanges, 9 clues. Now that's what I call a Christmas miracle in Valhalla. I mean, I can definitely see why people say this is really weird.
Grab a pole.
They also
Clear your
say,
mind.
hey, this isn't how Gen Z talks. Gen Z doesn't talk like this. I put less. I put the fact that it was just so perfect. That's more suspicious to me. But the whole Gen Z doesn't talk this way thing, that's nonsense. There's a lot of people who are Gen Z that don't talk the cartoonish way that you hear, you know, that people think. My brother-in-law is Gen Z, and he's never said no cap. I've never heard him say for real, for real. I've never heard him say any of the crap that Gen Z says. I've never heard him say skibbity toilet or whatever. So this idea that like, guys, Gen Z doesn't talk this way, the cartoon version of Gen Z maybe, but I don't think that that's enough to say, you know, that's really weird. You know, like that I don't think that's enough. Now I will say this, you know, they'll say a 22-year-old terminally online Zoomer using phrases like squad car drop point, swept the area, my vehicle, till I died of old age, my old man. Again, I called my dad my old man. I'm not Gen Z, but, you know, drop point, swept the area. These are terms that you would use pretty normally if you're playing, like, Call of Duty. You know, or you had, I believe there's some ROTC connection for this kid or his boyfriend.
Fired up!
Squad car, I don't know why that's not particularly Gen Z. Again, drop point, swept the area, my vehicle. The my vehicle thing is odd. You would probably say my car. You know, here's what I believe is in these text messages. Now, stick with me. You're gonna need some coffee. By the way, I have a massive sale today. CBCAmazon.com will take you directly to our Amazon store. And I've got our cherry cordial on sale for $5, our tangerine for $5. Everything has free overnight shipping, and our summer flavors are in stock and shipping free overnight. The Tiger's Blood and Blackberry Cream are ridiculous. You gotta pick some up. Now, here's what I think the text messages are. I do think they are real, but fake. I think that these text messages were concocted by both Tyler and his trans boyfriend to establish that his roommate would be not associated with this. I believe the roommate was involved in planning it. I believe we will find this out in the coming days and weeks. I believe that the roommate was every bit involved in this as the actual guy that pulled the trigger. It says, this is not how Gen Z writes text messages. Notice everything you need to prosecute is right there for you, all laid out. How convenient. The writing has the surface markers of someone aged 18 to 26. Slang ooh, I don't know. But the style and inconsistencies suggest it could be an older writer imitating that demographic. There's no evidence of that. This is a reach. This is an example of saying, you know, we're looking at the edges for, even though everything's right there in front of us. I think what perhaps they did is they might have used something like ChatGPT or AI to generate this text conversation that they sent back and forth. Now, to help prove that, search history, devices, all that kind of stuff will be needed to, you know, forensically gone through. But also, you know, the timestamps would be important. Like, when were these text messages sent? Were they sent, you know, do they line up with the timeline of events? Was he sending these text messages after the shooting? Were they before? Was there a squad car there at the time that this text message was sent saying there was a squad car there? You know, at the time this text message was sent, my dad's calling me right now. Was his dad calling him at that time? This should be easy for Cash Patel to, you know, to debunk. Part of what I'm doing on this channel is engaging in some of these theories that I think kind of distract people from the truth, and that is we should be looking at far left radicals, not Israel and not this, not that. But it's worth talking about them, especially if they have such, you know, large
only
followings.
just started recognizing it. Some crap about
The
safety
thing after reading this
protocols.
note, the woman replied, What? A bunch of exclamation point. You're joking, right?
This reminds me of the time
Now,
I
I'm still
reeled in
okay,
a
my
tuna
love.
the
Yes,
size
normal
of your
people don't
standard
talk like
field
that.
bowl.
But
Did it
this wasn't a normal
one-handed.
person.
Other arm was still
But
healing
I'm
from
stuck
an
in
altercation
Oram
at
for a
the
little
tea
while
house.
longer yet. I don't know what Oram means. Is
He
that the
was
city?
right around the time
Should be long
he
till I
was
can
made
come home.
minister.
He never went home.
Oh, he was
But I
a
gotta grab my
looker back
rifle.
in those
To be
days.
honest,
Oh,
I
that
hope to
man
keep the secret
could
till I
turn
died of
some
old age.
heads,
I'm
mine
sorry
included.
to involve you.
These days I
Again,
see him and I think,
There is
what
some.
the hell happened?
I want to analyze
guess
that
I
text.
shouldn't talk.
There is
I
evidence
think
that
the
he
same
thought he was
thing
going
when
to
I
get away
look
with
in the
this.
mirror.
Because what do most people do who do this? What's the last act they do, right? They take themselves out. That has happened in just about every scenario. So why did he run? Why did he stash and bring a change order? He thought he was going to get away with it. That's what I think. You weren't the one that did it, right? I'm so sorry. I thought they caught the person. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude that then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out. But there's still one vehicle lingering. Again, I don't know how he had eyes on the scene, but you should be able to connect. You should be able to show us a timestamp of this text and then, you know, evidence that the vehicle was there. I'm sure these vehicles all have GPS location. Again, Cash needs to just debunk this. Now, I'm not saying the FBI has to rush out to debunk every conspiracy theory, but these text messages they paint way too clean of a picture. Now again, Occam's razor is a thing, and it's possible that this dude was just that dumb. But if he really thought he was going to get away with it, why did he send these text messages? Certainly he would have known. Certainly he would have known they'd be found. Certainly he thought, I guess, maybe he thought nobody would ever connect it to him, so nobody would ever see his text messages. A lot of this is the actions of somebody that thought they were going to get away with it. That's what I believe. But I also believe it's entirely possible that these text messages were sent and they seem so off because they were planned ahead of time and sent back and forth to try and make sure the roommate wasn't implicated. That's what I think that's more plausible than the FBI just faking them. Like, he knew he was going to go to jail. He knew he was going to get caught. This way, he can throw the FBI off the scent of his boyfriend. Sorry. You know, the stuff about my dad's calling right now. Okay. Well, you should be able to prove that. If you can prove that, if you can say the text was sent at, 3:34 or 4:45 in the afternoon, and his dad did place a call to him at that exact same time, now you know the texts are real.
Looking worried?
And you know they're just dumb. As far as releasing that other camera angle, see, I think the roommate framed Robinson. I've run through Grok, ChatGPT. They both think there's a high likelihood that both users are the same person. That's why he's cooperating and feeding the FBI everything they need to throw the book at Robinson. That's also possible. It's very possible. You know? It's very, very good. You know, I don't know that drop point means anything or swept the area. I don't think he could have, again, there's an ROTC connection that was made, I think, with his boyfriend. But there is something off about these text messages that we need more answers. I don't need to see any more angles of Charlie Kirk losing his life. But that footage, I imagine, has been subpoenaed by the FBI. So I would suspect that we would see that come out. I don't know. Let me know what you think. You think that TPUSA should release the footage from the scene that wasn't being live streamed? Or do you think they should just not answer it? I'm on the fence. I don't need to see it. I know what happened. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below.
Today, we teamed up with law enforcement.
Yeah, this guy's still pacing. I mean, this may not be our guy, but he's pacing back and forth in front nonstop. He doesn't look comfortable out here either.
Right. I wouldn't either if I was about to get arrested. To catch a criminal 3,000 miles away. He thought he was picking up $50,000, but instead, this happened. Turns out, catching that scammer all started with a challenge from this guy.
Let me give you a little bit of an intro here. You're the #1 ranked ethical hacker in the world. You're a serial entrepreneur, cybersecurity professional, and now.
Okay, we know for a fact what's going on. We know for a fact that there's an issue on the left, specifically in America, and as much as everyone on the left is going to yell and scream that Trump needs to cool down and both sides need to chill out and both sides need to calm down, I come with fantastic news. Both sides do not actually need to calm down. There is a issue on the far left in America. These people are evil, they're demonic, and they need to be destroyed non-violently. And this dude has a honestly justified crash out and absolutely obliterates his opponents. Today, this video is going to be very serious, and I'm going to be pissing off a lot of people. Now, I do that basically daily, but I give you that disclaimer today, and I'll explain exactly why. We know that the murderer of Charlie Kirk is a far-left, anti-fascist, LGBT activist, dating a transgender, socialist guy. All of his peers call him a socialist, leftist, far-left freak. This is a fact. He is factually a far-left freak. Anyone that is blaming this murder on somebody else to push their own agenda is, in my opinion, evil. All right? If they are not only immoral, that they're literally pushing their agenda over the corpse of a man, an innocent man that was murdered. All right? Not only that, but it is demonstrably evil.
I've caught more
You are
bass.
directly trying to pull attention away from a terrorist movement in our country. So today we are going through all the fucking retard conspiracy theories as to what is actually going on here and who actually killed Charlie Kirk. And these are still going on. Because I had nothing but respect for Charlie Kirk. I think this is absolutely fucking deplorable that people are going to start pushing their own narrative based on this retard shit. We're going to be talking about Hassan, Destiny, Candace Owens is coming up here, and obviously the mainstream media, which is still trying to make believe he's a right-winger. So get ready, gamers. Lock in, boys and girls. Today we're going fucking scorched earth. Because if you are trying to pin this murder on somebody else, then you are, in my opinion, running defense for a terrorist group in our nation. Fuck you. The reality is too important, and much more important than your personal retard shit.
We don't need it. What is interesting here is why is only this happening on the left?
I want to say this too. Fuck you. Fuck you. Don't want to hear
How's
both
studying
sides.
going,
Both
my
sides
love?
think the most gay shit of all time. It's a you problem. This is good versus evil. Okay, good versus evil right here. Right, this is politics. You're cheering on an innocent man's murder. Good versus evil. Fuck you.
That's all we need to know. There's absolutely no cause.
What about another person that was killed? What about another person that was killed? Get ready for the most justified crash out of modern time. Sorry, this is the best I can do with the volume. Hopefully my editor will make it better.
You want to talk about Miss Ortman? Did you know her name before it happened? None of us did. None of us were spending every single day talking about Mrs. Ortman. I never heard of her until after she died.
Literally, no. And they try so hard! Get ready. What you were about to witness is cinema.
Bullshit with me. You know what I'm talking. What I'm saying is there was no demonization, amplification about that woman before she died. It was a specific crime against her by somebody who knew her. The same.
Yeah, that's not political violence generically.
And you can bring up Josh Shapiro, but then you will not bring up, for example, that that was a pro-Palestine person.
A Naga priest has people all riled up. So many raids. There'll be no fish left. There's no people left to eat.
Correct.
We don't care.
Correct! Done. We're fucking done. It's so over. We have crossed the line. All right? We are not just pushing this man's death under the rug and letting more people die because we're not willing to do something about it.
My freaking neck
Literally,
hurts.
fuck this shit. Holy! Destiny tried his best to call me out for this on Twitter, by the way. All right,
Fired
I
up.
post saying that hate speech isn't thousands of people egging each other on to murder you. Dehumanization isn't noticing an over-medicated, propagandized population that wants you dead. Cancel culture isn't taking steps to protect ourselves by getting people fired after they justify killing us. All right? No one's falling for the leftoid bastardization of terminology anymore. You've overplayed your hand. I don't give a shit what you call it, according to J.D. Vance, and he's right. All right? And Destiny, the arbiter of morals here, says, let me translate. When I'm weaker than you, I ask you for freedom. Because that is according to your freedom. But when I am stronger than you, I take greater freedom. Because that is good my freedom. So, this is not something to even engage with, in my opinion. Literally, your booze mean nothing.
I swear,
Cheer.
that place is
Literally, fuck
crawling
you.
with
This
ghosts.
is not a conversation
The
to be
temple
had.
on the hill?
Literally. It's over. I'm sorry, bro. It's over.
We don't care about your both sides argument. That
All right.
shit
My
is
friend said
dead.
not to
We're a
miss it
pretty
while I was here.
tough-looking bunch.
And one of them?
I think we're as ready as we're gonna be. Let's give it.
Your nose? Do not match reality. So you're coming up with these rationalizations like, what about this or what about that? We're not doing that because we saw it happen. We saw a young, bright man assassinated, and we know who did it.
Fired up.
Coming up with rationalizations. We are calm. We are honest, and we are.
Well, I tend to be fired up, Lauren.
That's right, baby. Cook, brother.
Why people are saying, what about this and what about this? Because if you have to face the underlying fact to this, your life is going to fall apart. Because you're going to realize you're not the good guys. If you sat around and you defended the mutilation of children, you're not the good guy. If you sat 600, 700 cases of harassment against Republicans, and you said, but what about this, what about this? And then you see this murder out of Soviet fashion, you fascists, you realize maybe I'm not the good guy. That is a hell of a realization to deal with. So therefore, you have to grasp at rationalizations. You don't have to do that, Jessica.
That's right.
They do.
That's right. That's right.
Why the hell do you have to mimic and echo that crap to us? He was a patsy. That guy was a patsy. He was under the hypnotic spell.
Fact.
A direct
Fact.
the transport. And you know that.
Keep cooking, brother.
You can agree that murder is okay and that humanity is expendable. How you cannot see that?
It's so obvious.
And see that for what the evil.
He's so obvious. He's so right.
It's beyond.
I just want to be clear. I want to let people.
Fired up.
In no way intended at all to minimize what happened to Charlie. I was
Lord,
horrified by it. I
breaks
could
my
not get
knee.
over the 5 since then.
I say, baby, please don't. 'Cause it hurts. She said, suck it up, bitch. 'Cause she's been listening to Britney Spears' work, bitch. Oh yeah, there's that song too. I forgot about that one. She likes that word. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Britney Spears loves the word bitch. Her next album is just gonna be called Bitch. And one song is just bitch, 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 bitch. Yeah, everybody. Listen, I would love to think that every artist says that, and they're like, "Oh, it's my comeback album," and they do it like 90 times. It's like she's not done. I bet you. No, like 5 years. I'll say 5. I'll say 5 years. I'll say 5 years, and she'll come back out and do something. Maybe I could be wrong.
Goodbye.
That's fine. I'm not 100% right on these things. It's just all these celebrities tend to do the same stuff. They all.
May have been a Groiker, which is following
Yeah.
Fuentes, who's on the right. But I'll say this. This is happening to Democrats. This is happening to Republicans.
Fuck you and your lies. No, it's a leftist. No, it's not a
Invigorating.
which is insane. No, it's not a fucking.
Oh, I know she was, but well, I mean, like she's not the only one though. Like almost every artist, she did get it pretty bad. I'm just saying, every artist got fucked over in the 90s. Every 90s artist got fucked over because you don't own any of your work. She had to buy her work. Same thing with Miley Cyrus. She had to buy her the rights to her songs back. Britney had to buy the rights to her songs.
A anti-Trump guy that went against lawmakers for voting against the left. All right, Josh Shapiro, Democrat, got his house burnt down. It was burnt down by a Free Palestine fucking nutcase. Burnt down his house. All right, this is not a both sides. It's not a both sides. And I'll be honest, the ideology does fucking matter when there's a terrorist cell in our country and when you have leftist influencers stoking the coals. It actually does fucking matter. You absolute degenerate fuck.
The shooters were on both sides.
I'm sorry. I'm making this really obvious, okay? It's not both sides. And CNN tried both sides. It doesn't really matter, the ideology. It was a tragedy. You're right, it was a tragedy. It absolutely does fucking matter if there's an ideology, if there's thousands of demons killing Americans and justifying each other for doing it.
The extreme. And so what should matter is that we should all come together to, one, tone down the rhetoric, and two, keep our events safe and make sure that this doesn't happen again. And so playing the blame game is not toning down the rhetoric. Playing the blame game only makes the rhetoric and the problem worse.
Yeah, but what if there is actually people to blame? Should you not blame people? Should we not punish criminals anymore, guys? Because, well, why blame the criminals? It'll just make more people mad. Like, fuck, literally, these people are insane. They don't deserve a license to bluff. Literally, shut the fuck up. I don't care. So one of the, I'm gonna get back to this, don't worry. I will get back to this in just a moment. Towards the end, Matt Walsh crashes out. I'm going to show you the Matt Walsh video about this. So I wanted to show you this. All right, let's tone down the rhetoric. All we did was kill the guy that wants to talk, and thousands cheered him on.
Yes.
So let me show you this. So the first conspiracy that's evil and fucking retarded is, did Donald Trump have a MAGA podcaster killed to distract from the Epstein files? A lot of people are saying this. Actually, a lot of people are saying this, as horrible as that sounds. Actually, there are a bunch of people that are saying it.
And I'll be over there. I'm
Trump
fishing
killed
more.
His fucking friend, Vance's friend, a friend.
Somebody's got to catch these fish.
Get elected. And you think he killed him to distract from the Epstein files for 3 days? So for 3 days, people didn't talk about Epstein, right? You really, literally, shut the fuck up. You are part of the problem. Every single one of you is part of the problem. It doesn't matter what side you're on, because again, I said this before, I'll say it again. This really isn't about politics. It's not about perspectives. It's not about ideologies. It's good versus evil. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're right wing, if you're left wing. If you are trying to blame this on non-reality, then you're essentially condoning and endorsing more fucking murders. All right? Literally,
Horseshoe
fuck
crab.
all of you people.
Caught a horseshoe crab.
The next conspiracy, the Israel conspiracy. This shouldn't even be a conspiracy, but people hate Israel and like blaming everything on the Jews, so this is a really easy one.
Are you proud of me, Lauren?
Realistically, if you want to criticize Israel, it's totally your call. You have every right to criticize Israel if you want, no problem. But we're going to be calling out some fucking...
I did my best. I tried to make her love me.
Are using the death of an innocent man to push their ideologically driven retardation and evil. All right? Their sports and legacy of Charlie Kirk, whether they're his friends or foes, they are trampling over his...
Are you memorized?
To push their shit. So
Alright, let me know when you're memorized.
could Israel be behind Charlie Kirk's death? The answer is no. Charlie Kirk was a staunch Israel
I will continue to explore this world.
Literally was super pro-Israel in every possible way. Literally, you are fucking insane. All right? You are literally crazy. So, no, this is crazy. Yes, the pro-Israel guy was killed by Israel. That's right. Israel sent in fucking secret operatives to kill the #1 pro-Israel voice in the country. That's right. He wouldn't hurt you, Hassan, who calls all Jews Nazis. He wouldn't hurt fucking Nick Fuentes or whatever, another very anti-Israel guy. No. They would have the #1 pro-Israel. Now,
conservative.
Who shot Charlie Kirk?
A guy from Utah who was raised in a Christian family, who was a 22-year-old.
A guy described. No, Destiny.
He
No,
didn't
Destiny.
have a trans girlfriend. He didn't have any trans influences. He didn't have any trans bullets. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys were wrong on all of that.
To be clear.
Except everyone was right about all of that. He is a far-left, socialist, retard, LGBT. It's really obvious. We all know that this is a thing. We all know that's what happened, because we all can actually read. literally lies 4 times in a row. He doesn't actually fucking care. So I'm really glad that Destiny was able to figure this shit out himself, based on preferences and what he decides reality to be. I mean, the left is really good about deciding reality. Have you heard? There's more than 2 genders now for the first time in human history. The left decided that you can be whatever you want. You can identify as a fucking walrus, and you will be a walrus now. The left is truly the party of reality. So I want to make it really clear. This is retarded and fucked up shit without even a shadow of a doubt. Again, I've said this before and I will say it again. Anyone that is using this murder to push an ideology, fuck you.
Okay, you're ready.
Right?
She is
No
ready,
proof.
guys.
You are trying to
She's,
literally
I
obfuscate from
can't.
the truth so there can be more left-wing
I
terrorism.
can't turn on that light,
or even
Lauren.
if you don't
I
want
wonder
more
why. I
left-wing
wonder why.
That just
Why can't I
kinda
turn on that light?
So this is
Oh, my dog.
So this is Bassam.
My dog.
I'm pretty sure that's his name. Is that his name? Yeah, I think that's his name. He is an
The
Egyptian
arrows
retard.
mean into the cell, and that means out of the cell.
And again, he
And
is
that
someone
means
that
ATP.
ideologically
Don't forget that,
anti-Israel,
okay?
anti-Jew. So
And then
therefore,
this is a cell.
I got shot today.
And that means
I have
low
two
sodium,
girls
high
around the globe
potassium.
who would
High
travel in my
sodium.
bed.
literally not even true. I think you're a fucking retard terrorist propagandist. I would not celebrate your death. That's a you thing, brother. Do you remember when Hamas murdered Jews? They fucking called their family to say, I killed 10 Jews, I killed 10 Jews. You remember that? Remember that phone call was played at the United Nations? Literally chilling. It's an exclusive you problem. Bro calls his dad to celebrate that I killed 10 Jews. I killed 10 Jews. I'm calling from a Jew phone from a Jew I killed. I killed 10 Jews. No, it's a specifically you problem. You are the fucks that celebrate this shit. Anyway.
So Charlie Kirk himself tweeted the right to speak freely is the birthright of all Americans. It's very interesting that in the last 3 days after Charlie Kirk was killed, they even proposed a bill to revoke citizenships for people critical of Israel.
Who literally not even true. It has nothing to do with Israel. After Charlie Kirk's death, they're real. Again, first of all, that is immediately implying that Israel did it. That's one. And 2, this literally has nothing to do with fucking anything. It's literally people that support terrorism. It has nothing to do with Israel.
Committed the hit job on Charlie Kirk.
I don't know, but I find it very interesting that Netanyahu, Prime Minister, went around TV shows making sure that we didn't kill. I mean, this is like a very weird thing.
But I've also...
What the fuck? Netanyahu knew Charlie Kirk personally. Charlie Kirk was a very pro-Israel guy. They are naming squares in Israel after him because of his death. Alright? Because he was such an unbelievable figure. Like, what do you mean? You don't know. We know. We know the truth. And because you have fucking Jew derangement syndrome, you need to go on your fucking talk shows and literally manipulate this innocent man's death to push your propaganda.
So
we know.
Critical of the Israeli government.
You are actually the real Iron Dome.
You want the right to suggest that Charlie Kirk was at the subject of a hit job by Israel. You want the world to think that.
Well, let's talk about Aurora. So Israel opened causing civil unrest in London.
Civil unrest? They are trying to protect their country.
Me, an ill-informed, irresponsible journalist.
Because I'm not a journalist. I'm a comedian. Remember, I'm a clown.
So anyway, like, this is what we deal with, alright? This is Bassam Youssef. He's a massive character. He's been on Jubilee. He's been around the block. And he blames Israel, alright? I don't know if Israel did it. I'm just finding it suspicious that Netanyahu that he died. Because you have no humanity. And you can fathom that his friends would be sad if he died. Like, literally, what the fuck are we doing? Like, this is insane. Oh, anyway, he's not alone. Because people on the right have been doing this too. Kenzo, those of you that haven't been following her unraveling, she has recently as in the last like 2 years, been on a tear blaming everything on the Jews. To the point that she says Jews invented space, and space isn't real. We never landed on the moon. The Jews invented the moon. And the Jews invented dinosaurs. And dinosaurs were never real. Jews invented dinosaurs to trick Christians into thinking that dinosaurs were real. If you put dinosaurs in space on the Jews, you might be fucking retarded. I'm not even joking. This is a real thing. I made a full video on it. We're not going back on old shit. But she was Charlie Kirk's friend before her crash out. Alright? Before her crash out, she was close friends with Charlie Kirk. And she is using her friends. Like, I'm actually. It's fucking with me that these people are so evil. She's using her friend's murder to push the Jews.
in the Hamptons, and he had more than one event, but he had essentially what was staged, an intervention was staged.
All right, so she's saying that a man by the name of, it's a billionaire guy. I had a few people heard. Holy shit, Bill Ackman. All right, so Bill Ackman is a billionaire. He happens to be Jewish. He's pro-Trump. He's rallied and raised money for him. This is Bill Ackman. So she is saying that Bill Ackman had an event where he invited Charlie Kirk. All right, he invited Charlie Kirk to one of his events.
By Bill Ackman, because Charlie's thoughts.
She's claiming it's an intervention. There is no evidence it's an intervention. He responds, and then I'm going to show you Charlie's actual friends from Turning Point response.
His rational thoughts about Israel were a no-no.
So,
I called
is spitting on the grave of her friend Charlie to say, you know how Charlie was super pro-Israel all along? Oh, he was changing his mind. He was on the other way. He was on the other side. And they were trying to stage interventions to convince him that Israel is, in fact, a good thing. He's not allowed to be against Israel. That's her argument. Okay? We'll see her rational. It's not very rational. It's, in fact, evil. They said Charlie Kirk was super pro-Israel. I'm going to show you a couple of the Charlie Kirk clips that showed he was pro-Israel.
This is not the route that you should be going on. And Charlie was surrounded by his friends. One of her friends, Bill Ackman, was very upset. And
no evidence.
Threats were made.
Threats were made. This implies that Bill Ackman, Jewish billionaire, threatened Charlie Kirk's life that if he doesn't become more pro-Israel, which he already was, by the way, they will kill him. And she is implying that they killed him because of this. Again, I think this is demonstrably evil. Like, this is unbelievable.
That's what I am.
The Ministry of Trade has started.
I will tell you that I am very happy for Bill Ackman to dispute this narrative. In fact, he
does. He responds to this.
Asked to dispute this narrative. Max Blumenthal went out to him today, and Bill Ackman came back and said, I have receipts I can show you, and he did not provide the receipts. This is not how it went down. I know it went down this way. I'm waiting.
I know the truth. I heard it from a source that I can't disclose, who didn't have evidence to show me, but he has it, and I trust him. Now, I don't know for a fact if this is the case, but it did happen.
For one of them to go on record and to say that it didn't go down this way. It was at this time that...
They aren't even on record saying it didn't happen. That's right. Bill Ackman. By the way, let me give you some more context on Bill Ackman. When Charlie Kirk was killed, Bill Ackman was the first guy to say, I am putting a $1 million bounty on anyone that can catch the killer. He put $1 million of his own money bounty on anyone that can catch him, by the way. Right? And here's her, dancing on her friend's grave. Now, I'll be real. I don't personally have evidence, but I heard it from a source that I can't actually give you. Lean in closer. I heard it from a source that actually Candace Owens started the war in Gaza. In fact, I'm not saying this for certain, but I heard from a source who I think has receipts, but he didn't show me the receipts, but I trust him myself. And all the truth will be released. According to my source, which I will not disclose, Candace Owens is in charge of Hamas. She hasn't even denied this, by the way.
Pleasure to meet you.
Chat, she never denied this.
Bibi Netanyahu was called, and Charlie was invited to Israel.
Charlie got invited to Israel literally every single year.
Oh,
man. Under duress situation.
No evidence. He was invited to Israel under duress. What?
Because I've been in these situations.
Bro, maybe Candace Owens is in fact a man. Any of you think of that? Maybe she's transgender. Any of you consider that maybe Candace Owens is Mandis Owens?
I started asking very sensible questions about Israel.
Right.
As someone who had dedicated her
Like, did Israel invent space? Did Israel in fact invent the dinosaurs? Very rational questions.
Political life to supporting Israel, many times alongside Charlie Kirk, I was met with the very same pressure. And just like Charlie was being invited to Israel, I was invited somewhere else. And it described to me.
Where were you invited?
Like a threat. You know,
Candace was invited somewhere, which kind of felt like a threat. Just like how Charlie Kirk was invited somewhere, which means that Israel killed him because they invited him to their country.
It felt like a threat.
Right.
Not like, hey, come here and we can educate you because you're my friend. More like, this is your last chance.
What the fuck? Innocent man murdered by fucking leftist bullshit and rhetoric telling people to dehumanize conservatives. Candace Owens jumps, shoots on his fucking corpse. Her friend, yelling By the way, Charlie Kirk was worth $500 million. All right? So this doesn't even make sense.
Spend tons of money. Turning Point, I guess, needs to go to a higher level. Would have gone to an even higher level than it already was at.
Like what?
Fired up! Feel the burn!
So neither will I. Wait, that was just a warm-up? All right, let's do this.
No. You just leave him there.
It's time for the final
It's over.
round.
You're anti-American. This situation is real bad. Literally, this
He's a little asshole. You know?
Careful now. Don't get overconfident.
Love to hear what you say happens because our sources and what we have.
Our sources.
Yeah, he's got a lot of problems.
What we have no evidence to release.
It's solid. Okay, there were conversations that took place, messages that were sent at that time.
And one of them is that he's a little asshole.
All right. Well, she didn't release any of it.
Another person that was there, and I'm not surprised this person was there if you've been listening to my show, Seth Dillon.
Oh, he knows what he's doing, Lauren.
Popular Jew. He was there. Of course he was. He's Jewish, probably. So I mean, he's obviously in on it.
Dylan, and I decided to message him last
Yeah, but
night
he
about
knows.
This,
He knows.
meeting. And Seth Dillon, who's normally very quick with a response, has not yet been able to respond. I'll show you this text message chain. And
I messaged him yesterday, right after his friend was murdered, and he didn't respond to me yet, which means that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. Are we following?
I want to be clear, I am not someone who normally publicizes text messages.
What the fuck?
But my friend was shot in the neck, and I'm just not really in the state right now to be polite when it comes to...
My friend was shot in the neck, so I'm going to utilize this tragedy to push an agenda that I've been saying forever.
The answer...
Nick Fuentes' response to this, by the way.
That I am demanding, okay? This is me out to Seth Dillon last night. I sent him Bill Ackman's tweets because, you know, he tweeted, I feel incredibly privileged to have spent a day and shared a meal with Charlie Kirk this summer. He was a giant of a man. I said, any comment on this one, Seth?
What comment is he supposed to make? The guy said, I'm sad that my friend was murdered. What comment? Like, why is this, like, super suspicious? Look, this
This morning I said, need a comment ASAP, please.
First of all, you're not entitled to fucking shit. You don't deserve fucking anything. First of all. Second of all, huh? A tweet saying I'm privileged to know Charlie Kirk means he killed him?
Then I followed it up and I said, trying again here.
All right,
You
well,
were
I'm
present when
coming.
Ackman lost his mind.
I'll be back.
Charlie, and when he